It is Indiana in the Morning. As always, we are presented by First Commonwealth Bank here on AM 1160 WCCS and 101.1 FM. So I saw this email a few weeks ago, and the email was an interesting one sent out by Brian Parks, who's with us this morning. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
And you've got Beverly Stiffler with you. Good morning, Beverly.
Good morning.
And this had to do, it was an interesting concept. Brian challenging folks a little bit to volunteer 2 hours of time at the Chevy Chase Community Center sometime in 2017. I said, I got to learn more. I got to hear more about this.
Great.
So, Brian, what prompted that email and this effort, and how successful have you been so far?
Well, great. Tried to make the story quick, but it was really neat how it developed. So I'm part of the Indiana Midday Rotary, and over the last few years, we've been privileged to sponsor and to support the Chevy Chase Community Center financially. So we've done that a number of years. And last summer, my daughter, who's 15, said, Dad, I'd like to go on a mission trip. Would it be okay if when I'm 16, we go on a mission trip together? And I said, that sounds great. But then I started thinking that that's easy to do, to go to some other country, but we have really a lot of needs in our area. Mm-hmm. And my thought was, why go serve elsewhere till we really serve well here first? And that really is the background that kind of got me thinking, and the Chevy Chase Community Center was the first place that came to mind. Yeah.
And Beverly, then I'm assuming he got in touch with you, and this ball started rolling.
Absolutely. And we are actually very grateful. As of now, I think we have probably the first, maybe second quarter of the year covered with volunteers on Wednesdays. So we're very thankful for it.
Yeah. So what are the kinds of things that people do when they volunteer for the Chevy Chase Community Center? Brian, what are some of the things?
I'll start with my story, and then Beverly can give the whole list. I volunteered to show up last year and really support, and I came, and they needed help in the kitchen. And anyone who knows me knows the irony to that. I am useless in the kitchen. And my wife, when I talked with her, she said, "You did what?" But anyway, I tried to help the best I could.
And how many people were sickened? Is that what she said?
No. They have a beautiful new kitchen, thanks to the generosity of a lot of community folks in the last couple of years, raised funds for a beautiful new kitchen that serves a tremendous amount of residents from the community and personal care homes and news story and all. So it was a great experience to see the difference that it makes, that we were able to make. And that's what I got to do my first day. And then as I often do, and I can turn this back to Beverly, I at times have ideas and then don't always follow through. So thankfully I shared the idea with her, and over those next couple months, she made sure I followed through to putting a schedule together.
Yeah, you got a ride herd, huh? What were some of the things that Brian, with his ideas, and then I'm sure you all brainstormed as well and came up with other ideas?
One of the things is I kind of recruited Brian to our fundraising committee. So we're hoping in September to have a major event. Mm-hmm. And with his support and some other committee members, our goal is to have a huge fundraiser that will help support the center, especially the last quarter of the year, which is usually the worst time of the year for us.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of interesting, because when you think of the last quarter, what are you thinking of? Here we are, we're getting set for winter. It's the fall season. Kids are going back to school or are back in school at that time of the year, and people's resources get stretched beyond the imagination in that last quarter of the year.
Yes.
I would imagine, since that's on a personal level from a family standpoint, it's that way with the Chevy Chase Community Center,
exactly.
too.
Because those are the people that we're serving. So they're coming to us to fill that gap in between resources.
Yeah. Okay, so all of that is the premise. Now, what can we do about it? How can people become a part of this?
So what I learned from Beverly is that they really have a need every day. But sometimes it's difficult to coordinate the time for volunteers. So our thought was we chose Wednesdays from 11 to 1. And so there's a place people can sign up, a Google Doc, and sign up for that time so it's consistent. A person comes in and sees Beverly. There's a whole list of things they can do. So it's as simple as maybe some filing if people feel more comfortable administrative, some cleaning. There's the food pantry, organization of that. A couple rooms need to be painted. There's some work outside, weeding. And so basically you name it, what a person might be comfortable with, and there's a volunteer opportunity kind of listed on the sign-up sheet. And so a person can come ready with the idea that they're wanting to do, show up at 11, talk to Beverly, and she'll get them connected to the way they can help. And, of course, the kitchen. If I can work in the kitchen, anybody can work in the kitchen.
You'll have to get somebody in to volunteer to undo what you did.
No, he did good.
I wasn't invited back to that part. I was invited to weed.
Yeah, it was amazing how immediately after putting him in the kitchen, you said, Brian, there are other things you can do.
Yeah, sort of something
Yeah,
like that.
go make a list for other qualified people to come. So please, from the community, come so I don't, they can kick me out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
All right, now you said, where is the sign-up sheet located? Is it a physical sheet or an online sheet?
It's
only?
an online sheet. It's a Google Doc, and so I can share it with you, and if you can make it available perhaps on your website or Facebook page, we can do it that way.
We'll do that.
And then folks just go in, they sign up for the day that works for them, and like Beverly said, we already have January and February full, some of March and April, and then people through the rest of the year have already picked the date. So I'd love to see this full. And quite honest, S&T Bank has actually circulated this through their group, and they're going to be signing up from their staff and a number of businesses. I think it's a great outreach. So I would encourage local businesses, churches, youth groups to look at this and to sign up and to support locally.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure, Beverly, that if you use up, what would you say is the percentage of Wednesdays that are used up right now, that are spoken for? Kind of hard to say.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. It's a good number. Like I said, at least definitely the first quarter of the year is pretty complete. But that's just Wednesdays.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
We definitely have other days. We have a very small staff, so we rely on volunteers. Without volunteers, we're not able to produce the way that we do. And with just having a handful of staff, we need volunteer support.
Okay, wonderful. I was going to say, let's fill up 100% on the
Okay.
Wednesdays and then
Move
maybe
on.
find
There you
another
go.
day.
Sounds good to me.
That sounds like a great plan. And you said, Brian, S&T Bank has been one of those firms that has stepped up. Companies or individuals, families, organizations, clubs, all of them. Just love to have everybody sign on.
Indiana Midday Rotary has already adopted this. Some of my staff at St. Andrews Village, and I think filling 52 Wednesdays is easy. I like your thought about the other days of the week.
Yeah. Beverly Stiffler is with us along with Brian Parks, and we're talking about volunteering for 2 hours of service at the Chevy Chase Community Center sometime in the year 2017. And those needs will change as the seasons change along with them. More outdoor work will need to be done in the summertime. I'm sure you have programs involving individuals that folks can take part in. Clearances for working with some of the people would have to be obtained, I would assume.
Yes, and anything that has any kind of direct child contact does require clearances. However, volunteer clearances, there's no cost for those.
Okay, very good, very good. And
We
you'll work with folks to make sure that all of that takes place.
Exactly.
This is great. I like this a lot. The Chevy Chase Community Center. How's the kitchen working out?
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Completely different than it was before. So it's an actual commercial kitchen. So we love it.
I would guess that it enables you to do so much more and so much more conveniently.
And so much more efficiently as well.
Yeah, that's the best word for it of all. All right. So, folks, once more, it's at Google Docs. and we'll share that with you. I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to get this interview. We're going to chop it up a little bit and make it into a news story, and then we will post that website that folks can use with that news story so that folks can just go to our news section at 1160wccs.com, and there they'll find it. How's that sound?
Oh, that's great. It's
Wonderful.
Anyone who does it, I am sure, not only will they be making a difference locally, but they'll leave feeling better for what they've done themselves. It'll be very rewarding for anyone who signs up.
And has your daughter said, "Okay, Dad, we've taken care of the local. Let's go somewhere"?
Yes, we go to Saving Grace Church, and so there's a couple trips a year sponsored through there, and that's most likely what we'll do probably in a year or so.
Life is ministry, isn't it?
That's right.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both for coming in to speak with us today. This is a wonderful program and a wonderful initiative, and I love to see things start and then build so quickly as this one seems to have. And the challenge once it builds in such a way is then to maintain it and sustain it for the future. And the Chevy Chase Community Center, like so many wonderful organizations, always going to need help. It's always going to be a need for folks. Thank you again for coming in today.
Thank
Thank you for having us.
Great to be here.
Here's Brian Parks, Beverly Stiffler. It's Indiana in the Morning, presented by First Commonwealth Bank here on AM 1160 WCCS and 101.1 FM.